This is a video review of the Shogun Megazord from the 3rd season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, also known as the Muteki Shogun from Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. And I really like the way these guys look together. They look like a heavily armored group of elite soldiers. They look really nice together, very intimidating, and I like how they're all basically the same size. Now, the Red Shogun Zord is about half a head taller than the others and a little bit wider, and he does have the bigger feet, but for the most part, they're all basically the same size. They're within the same size scale. The Red Shogun Zord isn't, like, just immensely larger than all the rest. And the reason I like that is because he does end up forming the chest, but he doesn't... And the chest is well proportioned. It's pretty big, but he doesn't overshadow any of them while he's in this mode, even though he ends up doing a lot of work for the overall combined mode. So this figure has a great use of space, and when we get to the overall transformation, I'll show you what I mean. I just want to point out right now, he is basically the same size as all the rest. Now let's start over here with the Black Shogun Zord. This thing, it's pretty nice. It's the same basic mold as the Yellow Shogun Zord. The difference is the chest bit here is a little bit different. These markings here are different. The markings on the arm are different, and the head is different. It's actually basically an entirely different mold, but it's the same basic concept. Now for articulation, the hands can rotate, which would be useful if I had all the little red weapons that these guys would come with, but I don't. And then the arm can rotate around 360, and that's basically all this guy can do. To transform him, you will, to make sure you don't damage a clip, you will squeeze in right here to pull the arms back. Put the arms straight, and then fold them in like this, and close them in like this. It's very similar to the what the Ape Zord does on the Ninja Megazord. And then you will bring the legs up like this. And what I'm doing with these legs is they're on a little black bar in there. And right now, you're not going to be able to see this because it's kind of dark, but there's a little tab right there and a clip in there. They're clipped together like that. I'm unclipping them, and then the bar is going to clip into the bottom of his foot when it swings up like this. And then there's a little black tab right there that's going to tab into part of his pelvis right there. And this forms a foot. So I'll put this off to the side. Now we'll look at the Yellow Shogun Zord, which is, again, almost identical. Same rotating wrist, same 360 on the arm, and same basic transformation. Squeeze this in, fold these in, bring this up, and then same basic process here. You swing it up on that little bar, swing it up on the little bar, and here you have a foot. I'll put this off to the side. And now we'll get to the other two of the kind of shared molds, which are the, you have the pink Shogun Zord here, or the white Shogun Zord, actually. It's supposed to be white, but for the American release of the toy, they colored it pink. Which is actually kind of interesting, because boy toys tend to shy away from using pink. And they didn't have to use pink. They could have used white, as it is shown in the show, so it's kind of odd. If you want a show-accurate version of the Shogun Megazord, you'll have to either buy the white Kark, which is what this is called in the Japanese version, or the entire Muteki Shogun set together. So that is a bit of a shame, but it's not a big deal. I actually kind of like how the pink looks on the combined mode. Now this thing's articulation is it'll rotate around 360, and it ratchets once every 90 degrees, but it'll hold its position anywhere else because of the tension from the spring. And you can't do anything with the legs, they're all the same piece, and to transform this thing, you'll bring these up over its head, and then you will slide them down into the body. Now they're on a bit of a track that goes down and then in, and there's a little tab right there that will go into a little slot right there. So you want to make sure you get that right. And then what you'll do is you'll fold this up to reveal the fist. And here you have an arm, and I will set that off to the side for now. Now we have the Blue Shogun Zord, which is basically the same thing. So bring this up, bring it down, bring this up, bring it down, fold this up, and here you have the other arm. I'll put this off to the side, and now we can look at the most interesting of the bunch. He does some pretty neat stuff here. Now what you want to do for the transformation is you want to press down right behind his head to unhook the clip here, bring it back, and then you see this white stuff sticking out of him. Kind of hold on to that when you do it, because otherwise you kind of put a little bit of tension on it. Then pull this out, and this will be his helmet. Put it off to the side. I like how this stores in the chest there. And actually, while I'm here, I do want to talk about how this stores into the body. Oops. Now normally it fits like this, but if you just put it in like this, you cannot close the body. It sits wrong. What you need to do is you need to take the beak of this crane looking thing, and then you need to stick it into there so you can see it poking out from there, and then you close the body. That's how you store it. It took me a little while to figure that out the first time. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I was a little bit scared of breaking it because I didn't have instructions, and I was a bit too lazy to look up any videos. That's how you do it. Anyway, put this off to the side. And then like with the yellow and black Shogun Zords, you'll fold this in, bring that up, and then here's where it starts getting interesting. You will take this, fold it up, and that will be the chest plate for the Shogun Megazord. And then you will take this, the feet, bring them to the side, rotate it up, and bring it in. And when you bring it up, you want to kind of angle it like this so that you don't bump into any of the chest bits here. Angle it, and then there's a little tab in there that will tab into the other side of that. And here you have it, the red Shogun Zord basically done, but you want to make sure you take these things and bring them out to the side, because these are part of the leg clips. Now, you will take the yellow Shogun Zord and the black Shogun Zord, and we're going to start clipping them in. Now these clips here, there's a clip right here and a clip right here, and they will go onto these little square things right here. Like this. Boom. And to take these off, it's a little bit scary because they hold kind of tight. I do think this plastic here is strong, but what I like to do is I like to stick my finger in here to kind of wedge these things apart so that I can get a decent angle on it. Because otherwise I feel like I might end up breaking the clips, which is not something I want to do because this is an 18-year-old toy. So, put that in, do the same to the other side, just plop it down onto those little square bits, and here we see it's starting to get a bit of height. Bring this up, and the pink or white Shogun Zord is the left arm, and there are 4 clips in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 4 tabs in there. Hold on, let me adjust the light. And you will put it on like this. And it doesn't feel like it doesn't sound like it's a strong connection because it doesn't click very well, but it is a pretty decent connection. It's just not the typical connection because normally you have a nub that sticks out and you click it on. Well, actually that's a bit more of a modern thing, but actually no, it's not just a modern thing because that's how the Ninja Megazord worked too. So it's a bit of an atypical connection, but it is a strong connection. And then here you have the helmet, and the way this works is you will fold the face out, and then you will put it over the head, but you want to make sure that this white tab here fits into this red piece here on his neck, and that will help hold it together. And then you will, let me adjust the height of this. And then what you will do is you will spread the wings like this, and what that does is there are little things right here, and those will squeeze against the red head there, the red Shogun Zord's head, and that will make it so that it'll come right off. It's not a strong connection, but it will stay on. So I don't like that connection. I wish the joints here were a little bit tighter and that it hooked together a little bit better, but it works kinda. It's not just going to fall off, but if you pick it up, it'll come off. So that's a bit of a shame. And anyway, this is the Shogun Megazord, and I can't tell if I like the way this thing looks, because on the one hand, it's a very interesting look. I don't know of any other Megazord that looks quite like this. On the other hand, it's kind of ugly, because it has strange bulges in weird places, like right here, and then on the arms, on the chest, and then the feet look kind of weird. They look like I don't know, they look a bit too organic. It's just a very weird looking guy, and I'm sure what I'm about to say would be a little bit different if this were white like it's supposed to be, but the white of the head looks a little bit out of place because it doesn't contrast right with the rest of the body, which is relatively dark. Now, if this were white, it might actually end up working a bit better because it would be... this one contrasts quite so much with the rest of the body, but it is kind of strange. And I remember actually having a similar complaint about the Ninja Megazord and its head. So, it's a bit weird. Now, I was talking a bit earlier about how the Red Shogun Zord is basically the same size as the other guys, but the chest becomes very big. And the way it happens is these connector things that are on the blue and white / pink Shogun Zords, they add quite a bit of mass to the chest, which is a brilliant idea because it's a great way to offload some of the size of the chest away from the Red Shogun Zord, so they can all be basically equals when they're separate, but still be well proportioned when they're together. And then you have the big feet right here from the Red Shogun Zord, and I like how these add to the torso size, because having huge feet, while it made him look a little bit strange, the Red Zord look a little bit strange when he was by himself, it didn't make him look significantly bigger, but it does add quite a bit to the bulk of the overall torso of the Shogun Megazord. So I like all that little... and then this right here adds quite a bit of presence to the chest as well, partially because it's very bright, and then also because it makes his chest come out forward a bit more, the crest right here. So I like all the little tricks and illusions they put in to make the torso look bigger than the torso Zord actually is. I just like the way that transforms, and that's actually the reason why I like the transformation of this guy, because for the most part I don't like his kind of transformation where it's just a bunch of parts that combine together Scramble City style, where there's torso, then an arm guy, another arm guy, and a leg guy, and another leg guy. I tend to think that's a very boring combination sequence, and it needs, that kind of combination sequence needs something spiced up, and that's what the this torso bit here does, how the torso works here. That's what it does for me. Now, if you've been watching any of my videos, or if you got to me by my most popular video, which is the review of the Ninja Mega Falconzord, then you know what's coming up next, the Shogun Mega Falconzord. So, and here's actually a size comparison too. They're actually very close in size. This is a little bit shorter at the shoulders, which means the head is, yeah, it's a bit shorter. Now, what I actually find interesting about these guys is this guy has a significantly higher level of detail than this guy. They look like they're from entirely different toy lines, even though they're not. So, go figure. So, anyway, to continue on, we will take the Falcon Zord off of the Ninja Megazord, and he just pegs onto the 4 pegs back there. But then the Ninja Megazord off to the side, and here's the Falcon Zord all ready to go. And the way we do this is we take off the arms, and then we take the Falcon Zord, and there are clips on the inside here that will match up with these pegs on the side. Clip them on. Bend this in, bend this around, bring it together, and then you will take the arm here. There are tabs here, here, and here, and then there's a groove right here for the top side of the connector bit here, and tab that on. Do the same to the other side. And this is the Ninja Mega Shogun Zord, or the Shogun Mega Falconzord, sorry. And I don't like this as much as I like the Ninja Mega Falconzord, partially because the Shogun Zord doesn't need the Falcon Zord to look good, whereas the Ninja Megazord looks kind of off balance without it. You know, like the front is a bit too much, and it lacks any real presence to it, just looks kind of plain. It really needs the wings of the Falcon Zord. This guy, he doesn't gain wings, which would have been nice. If he had just gained wings, I think this would have looked a lot better. It's interesting that he gets cannons, but it's not... It kind of ruins his profile silhouette. It makes him kind of back-heavy a bit more, because he doesn't really have much of a heel. And it just doesn't work quite as well for me. It's not bad, And if I had two of these guys, of the Falcon Zords, I would leave the Falcon Zord attached. But if I had a choice, I would always leave the Falcon Zord with this guy, so... because he actually adds something here. All this does is add some guns and make the shoulders a bit wider, which is appreciated, but giving this guy wings is better, more interesting, a better use of the Falcon Zord. So anyway, this has been the review of the Shogun Megazord and the Shogun Mega Falconzord. I do recommend the Shogun Megazord. It is a very interesting figure, has a lot to offer. I like all the little transformations they do, even though the arms and legs copy each other. It will look better by itself without the Falcon Zord than the Ninja Megazord will, so it's a better standalone figure. If you can get the little red weapons, that's great, but they're not necessary. And I kind of recommend it over the Ninja Megazord, assuming you don't get a Falcon Zord. If you get a Falcon Zord, the Ninja Megazord is by far superior. It just looks better. It's not quite as fragile. I don't mean to say that this is fragile, but all the little transformations that the parts do, there are some very thin pieces on it. So this is probably a better display piece, and this one's probably a better toy. So anyway, that's been a review of the, yeah, I've already gone through that spiel. This has been a review. I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Macross figures, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.